Welcome to Minstrel's Heart Music. My name is Echo, and today I'm here with, I know I say this in every video, but I mean it every time, one of the greatest keyboardists I have ever met in my life. His name is Yaw Ankamah-Asamoah, and he is the direct influence to Orisa Megbe, the person in the first video that we did. Welcome, Nanaya.
Echo, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Wow, what a blessing.
Yeah,
Thank you for being on. So, as we usually do it, tell us about yourself.
So musically, I grew up in a home of joyful singers.
Okay.
And instrumentalists. My dad was a drummer in Joyful Way.
What is Joyful Way? For
Joyful
our
Way,
viewers.
Okay, for our viewers. So Joyful Way Incorporated is a group. You can call them the Ghanaian Joyous Celebration, or you can call them, you can call them. They're a singing group, a singing ministry. And my dad and my mom were in Joyful Way. They currently are associate members, so they are members who are not as active as they used to be, but still support the ones that are currently in the ministry. My dad played the drums. He also could play. He plays a number of instruments as well, and that was my background. So I'll go to concerts with him, see him set up, see him tear down. See him play the songs they rehearsed, stuff like that. My mom was an alto singer, so I grew up around music. My dream instrument actually was the bass, but it's not until later that I actually picked up the bass to play. And so I started with the drums. Actually, my journey began with my dad, who laid hands on my mom's womb and then said that we'll be great musicians. That's my brothers and I will be better than he was. And like joke, as we say in Ghana, or like without any joke, or I don't know how else to say it in English, but like joke, it came to pass that we are musicians and we play in the house of God. So we serve God with our gifts and with our talents. So yeah, that's the genesis of my music journey. That my dad laid hands and declared words, and of course, he being the father, the one who gives seed, it carries a lot of power. So my first advice, if I should to give advice to anyone, if you want to see your children do something in the house of God, it starts with you, the father. A father's words are powerful. So if you're a father, you want to see your children go in a certain direction that pleases the Lord, you have the power to declare so, and it shall come to pass.
You're preaching, Nanaya.
That's
going to be a father soon. That's why he's talking like this.
Amen. Yeah. So that began the journey, and then my dad. So my brother and I, the one after me, we play drums. That's my principal instrument. I actually am a drummer. And so I was playing drums for the longest time. I had a musical ear for the piano, but I didn't know how to play the piano. So till I was fidgeting with like this toy keyboard that my dad got me when I was like 3. Surprisingly, worked till I was 5, 6 thereabouts. Very tiny. You can't play chords with it. Okay, you can, but you can't play more than 4 notes. No, you can't play more than 3 notes for it to sound. So you know how you have your left hand, and then you have maybe a triad in the right hand. You could only play a triad, and that's it. If you tried adding a 4th note, it wouldn't work. So I just fidgeted with it, played melodies, 2 notes to try and harmonize the melody I'll play, and I was developing my ears that way. My dad thought I had an interest in the keyboard, and then he bought me one that was manageable. So that was like a PSR 530 of those days. I mean, if you had that keyboard, you were quite you were quite a happy kid. So yeah, I had that, and I practiced self-taught by God's grace. And my dad thought maybe I should enroll and do like half piano lessons. So we started piano lessons for about 3 months. It didn't work out because of logistics, so we had to quit. And everyone else in my family quit. My sister quit, my brother quit, but I was the only one who sort of continued, the journey and the process. So by God's grace today, if I can play, it's because I think I wanted to, I loved it, and I had a passion.
Stuck to it.
So, yeah, I stuck to it, so that was my journey. And then at that time I was playing, believe it or not, I'll play the melody of a song. If I'm to play to accompany somebody, I'll play the melody of a song, and then I harmonize it either a note above. So it's not even triad, so it's like two notes and then a bass note. So that was it. And that's how I managed with that till I started figuring out what triads are. Even before I knew the name, I thought that was a cool sound. Okay. So it's a lot of exploration, and I was around 8 and I was keen. I played basketball, I played sports, but you find me more behind the piano or keyboard than actually playing outside. And thankfully, my dad and my family, we didn't have a PlayStation till I was about 12 thereabouts. So I didn't have those distractions. I would rather be one of the kids who would hear something on TV, and I would even tell my brothers that, hey, that's a DX modern keyboard, like sound here. That's it. And they'll go and check, and it is, because I'd spent that much time with the keyboard, because I loved it. So that passion, by God's grace, carried me through for a long time. And then I began to understand triads and how they work in a certain sense. And so now my harmonies with the melody became more of triads, playing the harmonies, alongside my melody, and then left hand. Now moving up, I went to Tema International School. That was where I went for high school. And that also opened another chapter for me. By God's grace, I started a worship team, which is still there today. It's called Genesis. We thank God for the current members who may be interested in this video later on, because I know that they'll come and worry me and tell me that, hey, boss, we've been seeing you on. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah, Genesis started. I started Genesis with a number of students. I was playing drums, and then later on, I was playing, keyboard, piano, what have you. And by God's grace, that's when my ears were also opening in a certain capacity. I was starting to understand 7th chords, accompanying my melody with chords in the left hand.
We'll be there, guys. We'll be there.
Oh, amen. But yeah, so these are some of the things I was discovering as I went along. And then I opted to do music, which was one of the IGCSE courses at the time. So I opted to do music, which was classical and theory. If you wanted to play a jazz piece, it's because that's the jazz. That's as far jazz or anything contemporary you're exposed to. Everything else we learned was pretty much classical, and also world music, so Indian music, Chinese music, traditional stuff from all over the world. So that was my music experience. Growing up in TIS, I would lead the band. I became the leader. I was the leader of the group at a point, and I played keyboard for church services. Around that time, I used to listen to a lot. I discovered African American music. So growing up, I was, like I told you, I was listening to Joyful Way. That was my influence. And then along the line, Kirk Franklin's and the black gospel started seeping in. And I had a friend who had an iPod, and I don't like admitting that she gave me the iPod because she makes a whole lot of noise about it. But wherever she is, if you have something to do, I want to say thank you for your iPod. It really opened me up to a different world of music. So, every Friday night I'll borrow Ife's iPod, listen to all the songs she had. I mean, Kirk Franklin to Byron Cage to Marvin Sapp to Kim Burrell, and I was just listening, even before I knew who they were and what they like. So I'll just be listening, and around that I was maybe 14, 15, yeah, thereabout. So I'll just be listening, and I love that sound, so I explored that sound. And I would like to say a big shout out to my very good friend on keyboard, Patrick Cotton, who had that sound at that young age. And so, you know, we share ideas, we talk back and forth. I'll ask him questions, and then he would break it. He was always patient with me, very nice guy. So yeah, I learned a lot from him. Even though he doesn't know that I probably did learn a lot from him. I don't know why. He always says, "Oh, why you didn't play?" But those things, you know, boys, instrumentalists, you are the chief of also. We like hyping ourselves, those things.
We do.
But yeah, Cotton is a great friend, a great support system. He's been a great help when I was developing my ears and my play. So you exposed me to things like Marvin Sapp, Potter's House, some of their very early recordings and stuff like that. Before I even heard the name Kevin Bond, I was listening to him. And as much as I wish I sound exactly like Kevin Bond, I'm not there yet. So, but Aaron Lindsay too, I'm listening to, and I just admire the sound. So I'll go for the sound and try stuff. And it's been a journey. I'm still learning. I'm still progressing. I'm still developing. Fast forward 2012, actually 2011. March thereabout. In March, April, May. Yeah, I got April, May. Yes, I had applied earlier and auditioned in South Africa to go to Berklee College of Music. And April, March of 2011, I got accepted, and I started January of 2012. Yeah. Wow. So I got accepted for the spring semester. So I did 4 years of that, studying music production and engineering, which as a course does not give you a lot of play time. Mm-hmm. Yes, you audition, even if you want to do business in the school I went to, you audition with an instrument, voice, piano, drums, any instrument you play, guitar, what have you. Okay. Yeah, you still have to audition. So I auditioned with drums because that was my principal instrument, and also because I thought the reading requirements for drums would be less, because my sight reading wasn't on point for keys and things like that. So I was trying to play smart, you know. And by God's grace, I got accepted. So yeah. So I'm grateful to God for Lighthouse Boston. At the time, it was Lighthouse Boston, Lighthouse Chapel International Boston. I found a family there. I found a church there. I knew someone who was going there, and they needed help with their music. So in my third week, after I tried other churches, I fell in love with their church. I fell in love with their family. It wasn't a big church at the time. It was a few members, 15 members. And we used to meet in a YMCA in Roxbury, Boston. In Roxbury, Massachusetts. I remember the YMCA, because later on I lived close to the YMCA. We're using some Casio keyboard. When I got to the church the first day, actually, I was playing drums. Because funny, as God may have it, I don't know if it was God's working, but I believe it was. The drummer wasn't in church. The guy who actually plays drums wasn't in church that day, and so he didn't have a drummer. And when I played drums, I think I just during worship, I just felt God say, "This is your family. You know, help them, support them, give them your time, and let your gift make room for you here." You know, and it was a lovely experience. That's where I met Oris, who, funny enough, the first day I was playing with him, I couldn't hear him because his volume was at the very lowest. And it's because I realized he was now learning. He wasn't confident in what he was playing. But fast forward, as time will have it, and as God would allow us, our paths crossed, we shared fellowship, and he's one of the best keyboardists I've ever, been privileged to play with.
Because you trained him.
Oh, well, Oris, I honestly, if we look into it, I think Oris really shot. I won't deny the fact that and he says it all the time, that I contributed to his growth in music and all. But Oris, I must say, is really talented. God has really blessed that young man. He's like the guy that I'm proud to say that I had an impact, because when he plays, it got to a time he would play and people would wonder, it's not you who's playing. And so, and Oris is one of the best. I mean, when I look at Oris, I'm always encouraged that I shouldn't stop teaching or sharing what I know. So I've spoken a lot, but I think this is the journey. I didn't have a lot of playing time, and like I was saying, when I did music production and engineering, so church is where I'll play, and even that one I'll play drums most of the time, or I'll be leading worship, like actually singing. There will be some times where I'll play keys, but I don't think it was a lot of times.
Multi-talented.
Oh, we thank God. Yeah. So that's about it. I don't know what else.
What a powerful story.
Yeah.
What a powerful story. So I think the thing that separates you from everyone else I've interviewed is your vast experience. Right? You've been living for much longer than any of the others have. So like looking back, what would you say are, some regrets or mistakes you made along the way? And like what lessons have you learned that you'd like to share with us?
Wow. Regrets. I wish I developed my reading.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you say so?
I can read, but it takes me longer to accomplish a piece because I can't sight read.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at sight reading. My sight reading is horrible.
I relate.
Yeah. My sight reading is a sad case, but if I feel like if I was diligent with that one, but I don't blame myself. I'm not too hard on myself about my reading because at that time too I was being exposed to black sound, like I was saying, like for lack of a better description, the gospel kind of sound, tritones, movements, those kind of movements, like 7/3/6, those kind of progressions. So at that time I was like all fascinated about that. So yes, I could read, but I didn't pay so much attention to that, where I was trying to develop it so much that I could sight read. So I don't blame myself, but I wish I had that balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of us contemporary guys will not see the need to read. It has its place. Reading sets you up on a different pedestal. You will be shocked that they can, your name and your gifts can make room for you, and you get to a certain level, and everybody's mentioning your name as a good keyboardist or drummer or bassist, whatever. And it's not until you are placed, a sheet of music is placed in front of you, and everyone else around you is a professional, is a pro at reading. And it's like, all right, so 3, 2, 1, we go. Part 4, check. And I've been in situations like that, and I sailed through, thankfully, by God's grace, because part of the reason is because I had, it was a chord chart as well as melody. So the chords are on top. Maybe they say C# -7. We go there, and then you know the number of slashes. So chord charts and stuff I can get by, but say reading note for note, like classically, you know how it's classically done in classical music. That's where the problems. And you look at groups like Berklee Tabernacle Choir, look at groups like gospel goes classical. When that type of ensemble with Jonathan Butler, and if you look at those old videos, you notice that the people are actually reading.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's still gospel music. He sings a song like, "We need you, Lord, right now." It's a very nice song. And the string movements, everything is just on point. It's just lovely to listen to. But they are reading. Yes, they've rehearsed, but they are reading.
Wow.
And they may not be sight reading because they've rehearsed, so they might have, played with the material a number of times, so they know what they're about. But sometimes you get to situations where you are just given a lead sheet right away. And,
wow.
And being in a music school, those were some of the experiences I had. So, but of course, I was a drummer, so there was drum notation and charts for me. Mm-hmm. Some gigs and some shows and recitals. My friends would say, "No, we need Nana from Ghana." They used to call me Nana from Ghana. Nana from Ghana on keys. And sometimes you go for the rehearsal and it's a lead sheet, it's charts, or it's a score, and you have to. Wow. And so I wish I developed my reading. And so I've spoken quite a bit at length, but I want to encourage anyone who has the chance to read as well as play, by ear, to try and get a balance between the two.
Wow.
You never know.
Wow.
I wish I had killed the habit of transpose way earlier. Yes. How I started, because I was self-taught, I loved the key of C, because part of the reason I loved the key of C was because I had, like I told you earlier on, I started piano lessons, and we didn't get far. So in 3 months, we were doing maybe 5-finger exercises, all white keys, C major. We play a song, a piece, just right hand kind of piece. Then we do a left hand piece. Then we do one that combines all in C major. So by the time I was stopping, we couldn't continue the piano lessons, like I said. So by the time I was ending that phase, all I knew was C major. At least my ears were getting accustomed to the sound and stuff like that. It's later on that I'll play maybe a flat 7 in C, and I'll be like, "Oh, this sounds good, but I don't know why it sounds good," and stuff like that. So then, of course, C major became my thing, C major, because everything I hear and want to try, because I don't want to go, be hard on myself and, go through the whole struggle of finding the key and learning the new key and all of that. So C major, then F, then G, then B flat became my key, E flat as well. But these were later development. So I would like to encourage, your viewers, your listeners, that, and your students, because you do teach them, and I think you do a great job at that as well. Transposing.
Glory to God.
Yeah. So transposing. I wish I'd stopped that earlier. Yeah.
I'll be harder on my people to stop. Yeah. Wow. And so from where you've come from to where you are now, what do you think is the most important thing, or maybe 2 or 3 things that you think every gospel musician should do or know?
Yeah, 2 or 3. I like that. The first thing you should know is that your gift, you didn't manufacture it. That's the first thing I think every gospel musician should know. I say that because there's the tendency that when you get better and the praises and the accolades are coming, you can easily forget that it's not by might, it's not by power.
It's by Spirit.
Yeah, that's the primary thing. So like the Bible says, first things first, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all His righteousness, and then all other things will be added. So no, just always have at the back of your mind that it's not me. It's not me. It's not the fact that I practice 7 hours a day. It's not the fact that I'm developing new skills, new ideas, partly because of what I listen to and what I try out and stuff. It's not about your practice time entirely. It's necessary, but that's a gospel musician. The first thing is the fact to know who gave you the gift, who you account to for that gift. You see? Yes, you have mentors, you have people you look up to, people who inspire you. Yes, great. They are not the ones you account your gift to at the end of the day. It's a hard truth because they are the ones you see, the ones you want to impress, the ones you want to, you know what I mean? But they are not that's not it. The first thing you must know as a gospel musician is that your gift is because of God. You have that gift because He has been sovereign. You know, there are other people who have gifts, and another gift, the one gift that we may not even consider a gift is the ability to clean and clean well. Wow. I know a gentleman called Vito. When I was in Boston Church, Lighthouse Boston, at the time it was Lighthouse, when it became QFC Boston. Vito was a good cleaner. I mean, Vito can clean. You see, we can clean. We can all clean, or we can lie to ourselves that we are mopping. There's that, or like we clean the tap. But Vito will clean a bathroom, and you might want to sleep in the bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was gifted to do that. He loved it. He was passionate. He put his all into it. You see, it's the same way somebody's gift is playing the piano, playing the drums, playing the bass. Yeah, but the gift, you didn't manufacture it. I'm sorry. That's the first thing you must know. So why is it that in God's sovereignty, He gave you the gift of music? He could have given you the gift of cleaning like Peter. He could have given you the gift of hospitality like some of the ushers we have in our churches. That welcome you with a smile. It's a gift. They are all gifts. They are all gifts. But the fact that you have a musical gift, which allows you to be in the public eye a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't let that get to you that you are a self-made man or a self-made woman. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
So yeah, my advice is that just remember that God gave you the gift, and you account to Him and Him alone.
Wow.
That's the first one. Second one is practice. And you know, develop your gift. Develop your gift. Don't be somebody who don't be stagnant. And I wish now, because of my work schedule, my life, I'm not a single man anymore. I'm not a bachelor. I don't get the time. So I'm even talking more to myself, and then I hope the people that applies to would also take it up and, you know, take this advice, heed to it. You know, practice is key. When I was beginning, like I was telling you, I would spend a long time behind the keyboard and all of that. Yes, I did like sports. I was even volleyball captain in my school, but I still like music more. I was a goalkeeper in my school's soccer team as well. I was a basketball player, handball. Wow. So I loved sports, yes, but I loved music so much so that if you looked on the sports, the basketball court or any other sporting arena, you didn't see me, and most likely I was playing a keyboard or I was doing some practice. Now, practice, like I always share with people I meet, practice is not 2 hours in 3 months. Easy. Like you've learned something and then you practice, or you are developing your major skills, minor skills, arpeggios, what have you, and then you practice those for 2 hours on the 4th of February, and then you don't show up behind the keyboard for practice, personal practice time until June of 26th of June. It doesn't make sense. If you practice, be consistent. That's what I always say to people I meet. If you practice, be consistent. Be very consistent. 10 minutes a day is far better than 2 hours in 3 months or 2 hours in a month. Why? Because you develop something. I remember sharing this with Oris when he was starting out. Muscle memory. Now, muscle memory is your fingers developing their own eyes, or your fingers getting used to a certain movement so much so that it becomes second nature. We wake you up from sleep, you can do it because you've practiced so much that your fingers just do it. It's like autopilot. Yes. And as you develop, you want a lot of that, because as much as you want to also think of the things you are playing, you want that dexterity. And sometimes the dexterity should just flow easily. And that's through practice. If you don't practice, you will not accomplish that. So consistency is key. And one of the things I would like to encourage, especially beginners, is that don't be discouraged by what you hear the pros play and think you can never get there. Because what you must realize is that the expert in everything was once a beginner. The expert in anything, any field, sports, baseball, volleyball, rugby, hockey. Let's put music aside for now. Sports, tennis, golf. For Tiger Woods to be Tiger Woods, yes, some are gifted, but even the gifted ones, there's a book called Talent is Overrated, and I recommend it to every musician. Yeah. Even those who are gifted and have the talent still do not accomplish a certain mastery when they are starting out. No. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. The Bible says little by little, inch by inch, and precept upon precept, exactly. So right. So you build, you don't just get up and you're a pro. So those we look up to, the Kevin Bonds, Aaron Lindsays, amen. But you see, like those we look up to didn't just get up and start playing at expert level. The expert in everything was once a beginner. So if we can take our beginning steps serious and strive to not stay at the beginner stage forever, and that will only come through my previous point, practice. So number one, know that God is your source. Without him, you are useless. Your gift is stinking. Yeah, without him, you are just a noisemaker. For God is love, and if the Bible says that without love, you are just a noisy,
clashing cymbal,
clanging cymbal, and all of that. Boss, there's no other thing you are apart from what the Bible says you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So know who gave you the gift. Know that you account to him, and everything you do is to his glory and to his honor. The other thing I said was practice, which is key, and then also know that the expert in everything was once a beginner. At least he said 2 to 3 points, so I think
that's beautiful.
Like that.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So rounding up, viewers, you've heard so much from this anointed keyboardist Nanaya. From his story, you could tell that he practiced a lot. You could tell that he had other musicians to give him feedback. Like I've always been saying, you need a mentor. You need someone that you're following, right? And lastly, you also heard that he listened to a lot of music. He talked about Ife's iPod, right? Yeah. Every musician must have an Ife's iPod. A hub that contains like a lot of music. Because as Oris shared in his first video, that even listening to music is a kind of practice, you see. Yeah. And that's it. I hope Nanaya's story has been a letter to you as it has to me. Thank you very much, Nanaya.
Thank you for having me, Eko.